Good morning. Assalamualaikum. Let me say that again. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam and good morning, Doctor.
Hello.
It's Madam, yeah? Who's going to address me as Doctor? It's Madam Hamida, okay? All right. Okay, so I think I'll have to start now. It's already 16 minutes past 8. Although there are only 21 of you right now in the Google Meet. There should be 33 of you in the class. Okay. Yeah. So that should be 33 of you in the class. Currently, there are only 22. Okay. Now this is week 6, yeah, of the semester. And if we were to look at the schedule, right, you are supposed to have your assessment, your first assessment this week and next week. Yeah, the first assessment is supposed to be conducted in week 6 and 7. Unfortunately, we are not able to have it this week. Last week on Thursday, it was a public holiday. I was not able to see you, right? And so I was not able to discuss some of the topics, yeah, that should be discussed before the test, before the assessment, right? So that's why I think that, I'm going to postpone it to week 7 and week 8. Right, so you're going to have it in week 7 and week 8 instead. So next week, yeah, you'll be having it. And I will talk about the assessment later. It's just that I think I need to discuss a few more topics, and then I'll explain about the assessment. All right, so I think I'll have to start now. Hopefully the rest will be able to join us in a short while. Right. The assessment, all right, next week and the week after that will be conducted online. Okay. So I think what you need to do, I think I've already mentioned this to you. You will have to form a group of 5 to 6. Since there are 33 of you in the class, there should be 3 groups of 5 and 3 groups of 6. All right. Okay. So I would like to continue uh, with the lesson for LCC500. I will have to continue, yeah, with the lesson. Let's see. Let me share my screen with you. Oh,
What happened?
okay. CC500.
What?
Okay, I think we shall start now. Um, okay, so I believe before the public holiday that we had last week, um, that was the third class that we had. Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe I did explain to you about what was it about? Yeah, professionalism in the workplace,
Yeah.
and I think I also explained about interpersonal communication, if you can still remember, right? Interpersonal communication. Mhm. Okay, interpersonal communication, and I also explained to you about the skills, the interpersonal skills that are important in the workplace, and we also discussed um, conflicts in the workplace and how to overcome conflict in the workplace. So I believe that's what I did. That's what I explained to you um, in week, I believe in week 4, right? In the 4th week. Apart from that, I also explained about professionalism in the workplace, right? So there are a few topics left, right, that I need to discuss before you have your assessment next week, right? So this is one of the topics, collaboration in hybrid meetings. Now, For the assessment that you'll be having next week, you are required to conduct a meeting or a discussion, right? And I would consider it as an informal discussion, right? And it's going to be conducted online, or I would like to refer to it as hybrid meetings. Yeah. So you will be, um, it's very common nowadays to conduct online meetings. Um, I think it all started with the COVID-19 pandemic, right? Everybody had to work from home. And so because of that, um, many companies and organizations conducted online meetings. And well, it still continues until now, right? So many organizations and companies are conducting online meetings. Like what we are having right now, we are not able to have a face-to-face class because of the convocation that's going on, right, for a few weeks. So um, we are advised to conduct our meeting, or rather our classes online. So online meetings, right, online discussions are in common nowadays. Yeah. All right. But of course, there are challenges that come with it, right? That comes with it. Yeah. So we will talk about um, this today: hybrid meetings, collaboration in hybrid meetings. Um, all right. Now, before you can have the meeting or the discussion, everybody needs to be aware of the objectives and agenda of the meeting. So um, you don't just attend any meeting without knowing what the purpose is, right? Why you are being called to attend the meeting. So everybody who attends the meeting will need to know what the objectives and the agenda, what the agenda is and what the objectives are. So what do you call that? So you'll be able to be well prepared for the meeting, yeah, or the discussion. Yeah. And communication is key. So why do you need to know about the objectives and the agenda of the meeting, so that when you attend the meeting you will be prepared. So if you need to bring any materials to the meeting, so you will be doing so, right? So you will not what do you call that, when someone asks you for any materials or anything, right, related to the discussion, um, you will be you will have the materials at hand. Yeah, you will be prepared, right? And so before the meeting or before the discussion is held, obviously, the person who is going to conduct the meeting will have to send out probably memos or notices informing those who are attending the meeting. Yeah, informing them about the purpose and the objectives and the agenda, and also whatever materials that need to be brought to the discussion or meeting, right? So communication is key. So which means that the person who's going to conduct the meeting will have to inform the rest of the members of the meeting. And because it's conducted online, right? So the person who is responsible in conducting the meeting will have to make sure that everybody is um, available, and that everybody has the essential technology tools to attend the meeting. So which means that if you are going to be using, let's say, Google Meet, or you're going to use some other platforms for the online meeting, make sure that everybody is familiar with it. Everybody is comfortable using that particular platform for the meeting, right? So make use of any platforms and any technological tools, right? and make sure that everybody is accessible. Yeah. So even though some of the members of the meeting are in some remote areas, uh, they are reachable, meaning to say that they have access to the platforms, to whatever platforms that you're using for the online meeting. So it's very important that everybody has equal access to the technology, because when you conduct the online meeting, you do not want anyone uh, to not be able to participate, in the discussion. So what do you call that? Everybody should participate in the meeting, in the discussion, right? So meaning to say that everybody should have equal access. Um, and now, when it comes to active facilitation, it's the facilitator's role, or the person responsible in conducting the meeting. So meaning to say that there must be someone who is going to conduct the meeting or the discussion. So for your assessment, I suggest that you appoint someone, right? There are 5 of you or 6 of you in the group, right? So I suggest that you appoint someone to be the unofficial leader of that group, because this person is going to be the one um, leading the discussion, or leading the discussion or conducting a meeting. Yeah. So um, that person would be the facilitator. Yeah. Or, well, I would say, I mean, if it's a formal meeting, then you call it a chairperson, right, of the meeting. But you can call him or her facilitator as well. So the facilitator is the one responsible for steering the meeting in the right direction. And he's the one, right, who's going to start the meeting, and he is the one who's going to mention to everyone what the purpose is, what the objectives are, and the agenda of the discussion of the meeting, right? So you need to have someone who's going to lead the discussion. Mm. And the facilitator, or this chairperson, now he is the one who is responsible in making sure that everyone participates in the discussion or meeting, right? So if you want to have everyone, um, involved in the meeting or discussion, so what you can do is, you can call out their names, right? Uh, and in the assessment that you'll be having next week, right? Mm. I I would like to see that you are going to help one another, right? There are 5 or 6 of you in the group, right? So if you notice that there are members who are not actively participating in the discussion, right? Then what you can do is you help each other by giving prompts, calling out names, and when you call out your group members' names, uh, they have no choice but to respond, right? So that's how you help one another in the assessment next week, right? So the facilitator, right? The person who, sorry, the person who leads the discussion, who conducts the discussion or meeting, he's the one who is responsible in engaging everyone in the discussion. And he is also the one responsible in making sure that the meeting or the discussion follows the, what do you call that, the allocated time given for the discussion. So he's the timekeeper as well. Okay, right. So that's active facilitation. And yeah, so during the discussion, even though you are having it online, which means that what do you call that? Everybody will have to switch on his or her cameras, right? Um, then when you communicate with one another, obviously it's going to be done verbally, but you can also communicate in the written form, right? So if let's say you do not want to uh, say it verbally, right? Then you can just communicate using the chat box, right? Like right now, yeah, we have the chat box, right? So you can type anything there, and that's another way of you communicating with the rest of the members of the group. Yeah. So communication channels here means that of course, you want everyone to speak up during the discussion, but at the same time, you can also use the chat box to communicate, right? But for the assessment, obviously, everybody will have to participate verbally. I would say, yeah, you are going to give your opinions or comments verbally. Mm. So when you switch on your cameras, you'll be able to see everybody, right? When someone is saying something, right? Then you'll be able to see whether the others are listening attentively. Right? That's what you should be doing. Right now, I can't see you people because you have not switched on your cameras. So I'm not able to see whether you are listening attentively or not, right? So, but the thing is, when you conduct online meetings or discussions, right? I think it's best that you switch on your cameras so that you can see everyone, and then you'll be able to ensure that everyone is listening attentively, right, during the discussion. Mm. Okay, so that's how you foster inclusive communication, meaning everybody gets a chance to express his or her opinions or ideas, or give comments, meaning to say that everybody has the chance to participate, yeah, in the discussion or the meeting. So mm, the facilitator will have to allow everyone to say whatever they want to say during the meeting, yeah, or the discussion. Um, yeah. The next one is post-meeting follow-up. Now, during the discussion, um, you might want to jot down important information or whatever, key decisions that you've made during the discussion. So you might want to jot them down, right? Um, and perhaps you can also appoint someone to record key decisions or discussion points. And after the discussion or the meeting, you can share um, all these notes, right, with the other members of the group. Yeah. So that's post meeting documentation. If you are talking about, I mean, if it's a formal meeting, right? So usually there will be one person who is known as the minutes taker, yeah. So meaning there will be one person who is going to jot down the minutes of the meeting if it's a formal meeting, right? So yeah, have someone or appoint someone to jot down all the key decisions or discussion points. It's important, right? Otherwise, you might forget. Mm, okay, all right. So that's the post meeting follow up. Okay.
Pardon me.
Yes.
Can I switch to my smartphone? I mean to my laptop because my phone is running out of battery.
Okay, sure, sure.
Okay,
Go
thank you.
ahead. All right. All right. So do you have any questions to ask about this collaboration in hybrid meetings? So this is the type of meeting that you'll be having for your assessment next week, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so if you do not have any questions, then I would move on to the next topic. Um, let me find this. Oh, new tab. Okay, new to this. Having move on to the next one. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so let me share with you. This. Okay, now whatever materials that I have shown to you, right, in my classes, I will share them with you in the Google Drive. I'll give you the link later, right, to the Google Drive, and you will find all the materials that I have shown you. And also there will be some samples of uh, the questions for the first and also the second assessment. Yeah. So I will give you the link in a short while, right? So you can find all the materials there, yeah? The slides, I mean, that I have shown to you. Okay. Now, the next thing that I would like to discuss is the language forms and functions in workplace discussion. Now, this one, I think, I'm sure you are familiar with the phrases that you use in discussions and meetings, all right? And when you're having discussions or meetings, right? So these are some of the, I would say, common expressions that you can use, okay? And I think you can read them on your own. Yeah, and because I think you're familiar with some of them as well. For example, if you want to express expressions for opening a meeting, right? So these are, I would say, some of the common expressions that you can use. Yeah. So I will just share these slides with you, and I think you can, read them on your own. You go through them on. It's quite easy, yeah. This one, the expressions. I'm sure you're familiar with them. When you want to open a meeting, so you can use these expressions. And please be reminded that the meeting that you'll be having next week, or the assessment that you'll be having next week, I would consider it as an informal meeting. Right? It's an informal meeting. It's a discussion. It's a discussion. It's an informal meeting. So because it's an informal meeting, I think you can be a bit relaxed with the language that you're going to use. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be too formal. Okay. So you can, you can start the meeting by using this expression. Shall we start now? Let's get started. Right? Let's start the meeting, shall we? Something like that, right? So it doesn't sound too formal to me. Let's say. Yeah. So these are some of the expressions that you can use when you want to make introductions, or when you want to agree on something, right? You want to express your agreements. Expressions when you want to state the topic or agenda for the meeting. Now, this one would be the responsibility of the facilitator or the leader of or the one who is conducting the meeting. Yeah, the person who is conducting the meeting, right? So he or she might want to use this expression when, or rather, you might want to use this expression when you want to state the objective or the purpose of the meeting. Yeah, for example, I've called this meeting in order to discuss whatever it is, right? Or there are 3 items on the agenda. First, we will discuss blah blah blah. Secondly, we will discuss blah blah blah, and then finally, right? So I would say this would be the expression that the chairperson would be would be using when he wants to state the purpose or the objective of the meeting. Yeah. So yeah, I think there are some expressions here that you are familiar with, right? So you want to ask for opinions. So these are the expressions that you can use. When you want to give your opinions, uh, usually you're going to say, I believe, I think, so on and so forth, right? Okay, so I think you can read this on your own. There are a few slides here. Yeah. Okay. Expressions when checking understanding, expressions when interrupting, when you want to interrupt someone, usually you're going to say sorry. Yeah, you're going to apologize first, right? Sorry, can I interrupt? Sorry, can I say something? Can I add something? Right? Okay, so you usually have to apologize first, then only, you say, can I add something? Right? So, may I interrupt? Sorry, may I interrupt? Yeah. So these are the expressions that you can use when interrupting, right? Expressions when controlling the meeting. So the leader, right, or the chairperson will have to make sure that um, you are discussing what you're supposed to be discussing. Now, if you go off track, right, if you go astray, if you discuss something that is not related to the objective of the meeting, then the chairperson or the leader will have to inform everyone that you have gone off track, and then you need to get back on track, yeah, and discuss what is supposed to be discussed. Yeah. So when the chairperson wants to close the meeting, right, you might want to sum up the key decisions, um, or whatever mm, important information, or rather, I would say you might want to sum up the key decisions that you've made during the discussion, right? So usually the chairperson will do that. For example, instead of let me just summarize the main points, or to sum up, yeah, this is before you close the meeting, right? When, I mean, before you end the meeting, sorry. Yeah. And then when you want to finish the meeting, obviously you need to thank everybody, right, for their participation, for attending the meeting, so on and so forth. Yeah. So these are expressions that you can use when you are conducting the meeting. Okay. Yeah. All right. So again, as I mentioned just now, the slides are available in the Google Drive. Yeah. Okay, now I would like to move on to the next topic. So I'm going a bit fast. So if there's anything that you would like to ask me, just feel free to interrupt. Okay? Do not hesitate. Right. And then yes. Any question? I will explain about the assessment later, yeah? Once I'm done discussing the topics that need to be discussed today. Okay, now where was I? Uh, okay, next one, I would like to discuss this. A little bit more to go. All right. Okay, hold on. This is one of the challenges that you face when you conduct online meetings and discussions. Poor connection. Okay. It's loading. Okay, principles in relaying information. Okay, now for the assessment that you'll be having next week, there are two parts here to the assessment. Part A, you will be involved in a discussion, right? Once you're done with the discussion, you will need to write an email. Now, I think I mentioned to you before that emails, writing emails, yeah, all right, or using email. Now, that's, I would say, a common form of written communication, yeah. So, which means that it's common for, it's very common to use this email as a form of communication. You can use email to communicate with the other staff within the same organization, or you can also use the email to communicate with people outside your organization, right? With your clients, with your suppliers, and whatnot. So it's rather convenient to use email, right, to communicate with your colleagues and also with people outside your organization. So for the second part of your assessment next week, you will be required to write an email. Yeah. So that is why we are discussing this topic today. I'm sure you have written emails before, right? You are familiar with it. And I'm sure also you are familiar with the elements of an email. Yeah. Um, so, mm, so the elements of an email, well, obviously you will have the address, the email address of the recipients, right? Those who will be receiving the email that you are sending, and then followed by the subject. And the subject is like the title of it, of the email. So when you look at the subject, you know what the email is all about, right? So when you write the subject of the email, it shouldn't be too long, right? It's very brief, yet concise, yeah? So should not be more than 6 to 8 words. I'll show you a sample of the email later. And obviously there should be a greeting, an introduction. I mean, if you are, let's say, writing to someone who is not your colleague, or you're writing to your clients and whatnot, so perhaps you might want to introduce yourself, who you are, and at the beginning of the email you should mention the purpose of the email. So why are you writing the email, right? Right, and then followed by whatever necessary information that needs to be included in the email, right? And then if there's any attachment, and well, you need to also inform the receiver or the recipient. Attached is the sample of whatever it is. Yeah, right. So you might want to what do you call that? Announce it or mention it to the receiver that you're sending an attachment, right? Along with the email. And obviously there should be a closing line, a closing salutation. And when you send an email, usually you don't sign it. There's no signature, but you would just include your name, right? And usually what I will do is I will include also my contact number. Right. So honestly, I'm sure you know the advantages of using email. It's very convenient. You know, when you send an email, uh, I mean, you can send an email to anyone in any parts of the world, right? Mm, so let's say I want to send an email to someone, right? In the UK or in the US, right? When I hit the send button, immediately the person will get the email, right? Will receive the email. So it's very convenient, it's very fast. Right? Right. I'm sure you know this, right? Advantages of using the email. And when you want to send an email, you can send to as many recipients as you want, right? So you just need to type the address, the email address of the recipient or recipients. Unlike the snail mail, right? The snail mail would be, you know, in the past um, when you want to send an email, right? You will have to put it in an envelope, the letter, you have to put it in an envelope, and then you have to stick a stamp on it, on the envelope, and then you go to the post office, right? And then, yeah, and then your letter will be sent to, yeah, to whomever that you wish to, to wish to be getting the email, the mail, sorry. That's snail mail, and it takes probably a few days to reach the recipient. Mm. But email is very fast, it's very convenient, right? Um, and it's accessible, right? Can be accessed even from your mobile phone, right? I can open my email from my mobile phone, right? And yeah, um, it serves as a record, so you have it in your inbox, right? If you receive any email, you have it in your inbox. If you send any email, also it will be there, right? So it's it serves as a record, and you can refer to it anytime you want. Um, so it keeps track of outgoing and incoming messages, and it's easier to track, right? Both in historical record and statistical information, and it allows targeted communication as well. So if you want to send to a specific group of people, you can also do that. For example, if I want to send an email to the lecturers in my department, right? The the English department, right? So I can easily what do you call that? Select um, I can easily select the English department. That's the group, right? I don't have to type uh, the individual email addresses, the individual email address. No, uh, the email address of each lecturer, but instead I just need to type the English department. That's it, right? And then all the lecturers in that department will be getting the same email. So you can it allows targeted communication, right? And obviously it's free, right? No cost of printing, shipping materials, paperless. It's paperless, so it's very convenient. So um, yeah, I think um, like I said just now, is the most common form of communication, a written form of communication. Apart from WhatsApp, I mean WhatsApp, that's informal, right? That's informal. But email, it will be more formal. Yeah. Now, in the workplace, right, when you want to send emails, make sure that you use professional email address. Okay, make sure that you use professional email address. You don't have Pink Lady, for example, pinklady@gmail.com. Doesn't sound professional at all, right? Or princess@gmail.com. So that doesn't sound professional at all. Yeah? So make sure that you use a professional email address. And you know, in the future, when you want to send, let's say, what do you call that? Emails to your prospective employers, right? When you want to, you're job hunting, right? You're looking for jobs, right? And you send email. Make sure that you have a professional email address. And you send to your prospective employers. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's important that you have a clear subject line. As I mentioned just now, it shouldn't be more than 8 words, like 6 to 8 words will be okay, right? Make sure that it's short, simple. For example, you can have here updated operation hours. You know, when the receiver or the recipient of the email looks at the subject line, so he knows what the content of the email is all about. Yeah, simple as that. Yeah. All right. So when you want to sign off, as I mentioned just now, usually you're going to put your full name, right? Your contact number, and you might also want to include your designation or your job title, especially if you're sending the email to someone who is outside the organization. So you might want to also include your designation or your job title and the company address. But if you are communicating with someone within your organization, so I think you don't have to put your job title there, right? You don't have to include that. I think suffice for you to just include your contact number, your full name and your contact number, or even your contact number is not necessary as well. I mean, if you're communicating with, your colleagues or someone within your organization, right? Okay, right? And the last one that I would like to discuss with you, the last topic would be this one. Right? Okay. So when you want to send your email, right? So you have to be aware of this CC and BCC thing. Yeah, right. Probably some of you know what CC and BCC stand for. So CC stands for carbon copy, right? Carbon copy, which means that if you type another email address, right, in that CC column, right? So that means that you are sending the same email or a copy of that email to another recipient. I'll show you later how it's done, yeah? But you can have more than one recipient. Meaning to say that when you include the email address in the CC column too, right? The CC column, then you can have more than one recipient. And then there's another one called the BCC. Sorry, I'm just, yeah, BCC. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Probably some of you know what this means, right? Blind carbon copy. Let me show you an example. Yeah? Let me just show you an example. Let's see. Let me show you my email. So this is my email. Hold on. Okay. All right. So this is my email. This is my official email. All right. Okay, so every day I receive a lot of emails. Some are relevant, some are not relevant. So the irrelevant ones, I will just delete them. But what I want to show you is this one. When I want to send an email, right, like this one. Okay. Like this, right? So the recipient here, let's just say I want to send to my colleague. So I'll just choose this. So this is the person who will be getting this email. So I'm sending this email to this colleague of mine. So let's just say I want to send a copy of this email, the same email or copy of this email to another recipient. So I'll just click on this CC, right? And I will just type the email address here. Okay, that's right. Okay. CC stands for carbon copy, right? A carbon copy meaning to say that the same email, a copy of the email will be sent to this person here. Right? Then I'll type in the subject. Oops, sorry. Let's just say I want to also send another copy to my, let's just say this is my colleague, right? I want to send a copy of this to my dean. Let's just say this is my dean, yeah? Right. This is the dean of my faculty, right? So, which means that when I send this email to this person, Che Azmi, right? He will know that a copy of this email is also sent to this person, for Mazura. Okay? But he doesn't know that a copy of this email is being sent to the dean because he will not see this address in his email that he's receiving from me. So that's why it's called blind carbon copy. Blind carbon copy because when he receives the email from me, right, this Sheikh Muhammad Azmi, when he receives the email from me, he will not see this address, this email address on his email. But he will see this address on his email, meaning to say that he knows that a copy of this email is being sent to this person for Mazura. All right, so blind carbon copy, that's why it's called blind carbon copy, because this person doesn't know that a copy of this email is being sent to the dean. Okay, right, so I'm going to add the subject. Now, subject will have to be very specific, right? very concise, very brief. So let's just say this is the subject. Sorry. Okay. All right. Itulah. Okay. 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 So that would be the subject line or the subject of this email. So when the recipient, Muhammad Azmi, sees this, right, this subject, he knows that the content of the email is about this. The EET 699 results is missing for this group. Okay. So when you start your email, you're going to greet the recipient, right? So usually what I will do is I will greet him by I will just type, you know, this is a normal greeting lah, yeah. Okay. But of course, you can use some other form of greetings, right? If you don't want to use this, so you can just say, just straight away. Sorry. Okay, right. So that's the normal salutation or greeting that you can use when you start your email, right? Then followed by the introduction, the purpose of the meeting, the purpose of the email. Sorry. Okay, so you can just end up with this reference, reference to the above matter, right? So that's the purpose of the email. The reference to the above matter. I would like to seek your explanation for the missing results. Okay, right. Okay, then followed by the whatever, you know, important matter that or important information that you want to include in this email, right? So probably you're going to have, so when you write an email, right, you don't have to write a very lengthy one. Usually emails will be short, would be brief, just straight to the point, right? So you don't have to beat around the bush and whatnot. So you don't also include, I mean, irrelevant or unnecessary information, obviously, right? So you just include, right, the important matters or the important points that you need, that you want to include in the email. That's it. So that's why emails usually it's, you know, it's short, it's brief, it's concise. Nobody wants to read a very long email, right? So you don't write lengthy ones. So yeah, so whatever it is, probably you are going to have like 1 or 2 paragraphs, yeah. Okay, right? I'll just read it like this, yeah. And then this one depends on whatever information that you want to include. And then let's just say, kind attention to this matter. Put your prompt, sorry, not kind, your prompt attention. PRO-MPT, prompt attention to this matter is highly appreciated. Okay. Thank you. And then how do you sign off, right? Usually what I will do is regards. I will just sign off with regards. Then okay, now let me just what do you call that, enlighten you on this here. Why am I sending to this person? So this is about the EET examination, right? The English exit test. And this person, for Mazura Anwar, she is the head of the examination committee at my faculty, right? Let's just say for Mazura Anwar, she is the head of the examination committee at my faculty, right? And then this Dr. Suhaila is the dean. Okay. So Sheikh Muhammad Azmi is just one of the lecturers at the English department involved in the examination, the EET, the English exit test. So I'm sending this email to this colleague of mine, right? And then I am sending a copy to the head of the examination committee, right? At my faculty, and I'm also sending a blind copy, my covered copy to my dean. Okay. One Mazura, when she receives her email, right, she will see Encik Azmi's email address, and she will also see the dean's email address. So she knows that the email is being sent to the dean as well. Okay. So yeah, so that's the difference between CC and DCC, blind cover copy. Okay, so how do you all right, so since I am sending this to my colleague, right, at my faculty, so what I usually do is I will just sign off as Hamida Abdul Qadir. That's it. That's my name, yeah. And sometimes I would also include my contact number. And since I'm also sending a copy to my dean, I will also include my designation. Okay, I think I'll include my designation as well. Right. That's it. So this is what your email looks like, and this is when you use CC and DCC. Okay, all right. Okay. Any question about email? Do you have any questions about emails? Okay, so as I mentioned just now, right, for the assessment next week, you will be required to write an email, yeah, after the discussion. There are two parts here to the assessment. Part A, discussion. Part B, writing email. Okay, so if you have no questions, then I would like to show you a sample of the questions for the assessment. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, so all these slides will be shared with you, the Google Drive, yeah? Let's see, where is the, yeah, assessments. Assessment 1. Okay. This is the sample question. Okay, now, for the assessment next week, first and foremost, what you need to do is you need to form a group of 5 to 6. There are 33 of you in the class, which means that there will be 3 groups of 5 and 3 groups of 6. Okay, so you choose your own group members. I will not do that for you. You will have to do that on your own, right? Choose your own group members. And yeah, so look at this. English for workplace communication, LCC500. The first assessment is on workplace discussion and email. And the time given is 1 hour and 10 minutes. Okay. Now, well, it's written here, the assessment is due in weeks 6 and 7. However, you will be having yours in weeks 7 and 8. Okay. And you are required to participate in a group discussion and write an email. Okay, let's have a look at the question that you'll be getting. This is part A. Part A, group work. All right, now look at the instructions. The instructions to candidates. Preparation time 10 minutes. Discussion time 25 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, you get around 25 to 30 minutes for your discussion. So what you need to do is you need to read the situation given, right? And during that 10 minutes of preparation time, you can prepare points for discussion. Now, it's conducted online, yeah? Yeah, it's conducted online. Yeah. And so during that 10 minutes of preparation time, well, in the previous semester, what the students did was they Googled for the points. You know, they Googled for the points, which I think it's okay. You're allowed to do that. Okay, but what the student did last semester was they read out the points that they found from their search. Now, this is a discussion. You're supposed to be having a discussion. You're not supposed to be reading, yeah, the information that you get from your search, using the Google search, right? So don't read, right? Instead, what you need to do is you need to talk to one another, discuss. Yeah. And while you're having the discussion, so after the 10 minutes of preparation time, you get about 25 to 30 minutes to discuss, right? So while you're discussing, you take brief notes during the discussion because you will need them for the second part of the assessment, which is part B, writing email. So if you look at the situation would be workplace related situation, right? Usually we are looking at problems that occur in the workplace. So you will have to discuss the problem and come up with solutions and whatnot, right? Okay, so this is an example of the situation that you might be getting. This is just a sample, yeah? With the constant flow of innovative technology in the workplace, Millennium Youth, a company that deals with esport tournaments, has been receiving complaints regarding the misuse of the company's electronic devices among the staff. Due to this unprecedented situation, you and your colleagues have been instructed to investigate this matter, have a discussion on the following aspects. All right, so there are 3 aspects that you need to discuss. And since they are stated, right, so you won't go astray. So you know that what you're supposed to be discussing would be these 3 aspects. Factors leading to the situation, consequences to the staff and company, solutions for the situation, right? So during that 25 to 30 minutes, you will be discussing these 3 aspects, right? And even though you are having the discussion in a group, you will be assessed individually, all right, based on your language, obviously. Right, there's an error there. Sorry, for the error. Language is 20 marks. Language, 20 marks. Task fulfillment, 10 marks. Task fulfillment here, well, it means content. Task fulfillment, in simple words, it means content, yeah, right. So content 10 marks, language 20 marks, interaction 5 marks. Now, interaction, you are supposed to actively participate in the discussion. Everybody, right? Everybody needs to participate in the discussion, right? So you can't afford to just say a few words. For example, yeah, I agree, or I disagree, or that's a good idea. You know, if you just if you don't actively participate in the discussion, I'm afraid that you might lose out the marks for interaction. And another 5 marks for fluency. Yeah, fluency here means that, well, as I mentioned earlier, you're supposed to be having a discussion. You're not supposed to be reading whatever information that you get from your search. Yeah, even though you're given 10 minutes of preparation time and you search for the points, yeah, on the internet, still you're not supposed to be reading. You're supposed to be discussing, talking to one another, right? It's a discussion, obviously. Right? So no reading, please. Yeah. So if you read, right? If you read, you will get 0 marks for fluency. The most that you can get will be half a mark or even 1 mark, but not more than that. I think usually last semester I gave a 0. So no reading, okay? Right. So that's the first part of the assessment, part A, yeah? For the second part B, it's individual, it's individual work, right? It's an individual task. Each and every one of you will have to write the email. Okay. Email is just 10 marks. Oh, I forgot to mention this just now. For the discussion, right, it's 40 marks. 40 marks, yeah? That's a lot. Because the focus of this course is on communication. So that is why for the first part of the assessment, the marks allocated is 40 marks, okay? They're allocating 40 marks for the first part of the assessment. For the email writing, is only 10 marks. But still, 10 marks is a lot. Okay? Now, for this part, you are given 30 minutes. So after your discussion, you will be given another 30 minutes to write the email. And when you write the email, obviously you need to refer to the notes that you have taken during the discussion. So that's why you are advised to take notes, right? To jot down the key decisions or important decisions that you made during the discussion, because you will need that for your email. So look at the instructions. Compose an email of 200 to 250 words addressing your head of department with a CC, with a copy, carbon copy, yes, CC to your general manager in soft copy. So even though you are going to write an email, you don't need to use your Gmail or Hotmail or whatever, I don't know, whatever mail that you're using, right? So the common one will be Gmail, right? But you don't have to do that. So this is how you're going to do it. So you use Word document, right? Like this one. Let me show you, yeah? So you just use Word document. Yeah. Where is it? Coming up. So you just use Word documents like this, right? And then what you need to do is you just need to type the email. So you have to type the recipient's address. Let's just say this would be the email address of the recipient. Yeah? Let's just say and then you have to include the CC. You have to CC, or rather you have to send a copy of this email to your GM, the manager. So let's just say CC this is just inventing this, yeah. Okay. Right. And then followed by the subject. Okay. Right. Subject, let's just say I'm using the same one, yeah. This is an example, right? I just want to show you how you're going to write the email. Okay. So you're using Word documents, right? All right. So you're going to type the content of the email and whatnot, right? Okay, right. So what you do is once you're done with the email, right, you just save it. You save, right? Save it as a PDF form. Save it in a PDF form, right? Like this one. Okay. And then obviously you're going to name the file. Let's just say LCC500 email, right? I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you. All right. Fine. So you save it, the PDF form, and then what you do is you are going to send it later on to a Google Classroom. You're going to send it to the Google Classroom. I'll give you the link to the Google Classroom. You send it there. So even though you're writing an email, it doesn't mean that you're going to use your Gmail or whatsoever. So you are just going to type the email using the Word document and then send it to the Google Classroom. Why Google Classroom? Because I feel comfortable using Google Classroom. You know, I keep all my students' work there, right? The students submit all their assignments to Google Classroom. So I am comfortable using Google Classroom. So that's why I'm going to give you the link next week, right? For you to submit the email. Okay? All right. Now, so that's why it says there, for the email, right? What are you going to write in your email? Summarize the key decisions made during the discussion by referring to the notes taken. And then you submit the soft copy to me. Soft copy, right? So you just need to use Word document. That's it. And how will you be evaluated? Well, 4 marks for language, 3 marks for content or task fulfillment, 3 marks for format. So that's 10 marks, okay, for writing email. Okay, now what I want to show you next is the sample email. Where is it? Hello. Who's still there? Okay. Okay, so this is what your email looks like. Which is enlarge it. All right. So email writing, format 3 marks, content 3 marks, language 4 marks. Content or task fulfillment, yeah? 3 marks. All right. So for format, you must have all these for you to get 3 marks, right? So you need to have the recipient's address, email address, the recipient's email address, the email address of the general manager, again, because you're sending a carbon copy to your general manager. So you also need to include the email address of your general manager there. So email address of the recipients. There will be 2 recipients, right? And then you also need to include your subject line. This is for the format, yeah, 3 marks. And then you need to have a greetings, and then introduction, the body of the content, and then closing, complimentary close, then the signature block. Let me show you. If there's any missing item, right, half mark will be deducted. Okay. Content 3 marks. So there are 3 aspects that you need to discuss during the discussion, right? So you have to mention the whatever key decisions or important points, right, regarding the 3 aspects, as well as the supporting details, right? And then language 4 marks, okay? So this is a sample answer. You have the email address of the recipients, to CC, and then subject line. Subject line will have to be short, brief, concise, right? Misuse of company electronic devices. Then you have greetings, right? Dear Mr. Kamal, or whatever it is, yeah? You're sending the email to your head of department, right? And then there should be an introduction. In the introduction, you're going to mention the purpose of your email. So I'm writing this email to summarize the points of our team's discussion regarding the misuse of company electronic devices at Land Youth. Right, and then this is the first aspect. The key point for the first aspect, right? What was the What are they supposed to be discussing? Can't remember what it is. This one. Sorry. Oops, lazy. The three key aspects just now, this one. Factors leading to the situation, consequences to the staff and company, solutions for the situation, right? So when you write the email, so you have to address these three aspects, right? In your email. So this is the first aspect, right? The key point for the first aspect. And then this one is content 1, half mark, content 2, half mark. So this one would be, this is the first aspect, and then this is the second aspect, 3 and 4, half mark each. So this one will be the elaboration, supporting detail, the elaboration, right? And then content 5 and 6 for the third aspect, coming up with the solution, right? Recommendation on how to solve the problem. And then you have the closing. So for the closing, something like this, right? I would appreciate any feedback and suggestions you may have. Thank you for your kind attention. And then this is the complimentary close, best regards, or you can just, you can just type regards or warm regards, best regards, or just regards, right? And then lastly would be the signature block. So you don't sign the email. What you do is you just include your name, right? Position if necessary, right? And then your contact number. I think that's it. This is this is what your email should look like when you, I mean, for the assessment next week, right? So I'm sharing all these with you in the Google Drive. Everything is in the Google Drive. I'll give you the link to the Google Drive in a short while, yeah? Okay, right. So I think that's it. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, great. So now what you have to do is you have to form your groups, all right? You just need to choose your group members. And next week, all right, I think we can have 3 groups next week, and then another 3 groups in week 8. Okay? So we'll start at 8 o'clock next week, right, with the first group. So that will be, I think, what you can do is you can list the names of your group members in the WhatsApp group, please. Yeah, can you do that? So in the WhatsApp group, right? Yeah, please list the names of your group members. I think I can't remember who it was. Was it Miras or was it? How do I pronounce your name, by the way? I know I have 3 foreign students in my class. How do I pronounce your name? Yeah, TNK. Rawan.
It's row 1.
Rowan. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rowan. Was it you who asked me about the assessment? In the first class, you asked me whether you could have it earlier. Was it you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the reason why you can't have it earlier.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be conducted week 6 and 7, but I'm postponing it to week 7 and 8. And because it's a group discussion. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's not a project. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, are there any questions? Class, do you have any questions about the assessment next week? So we'll have 3 groups next week and another 3 groups in week 8. Yeah. All right. And I'll be sharing also with you some other example questions like this one. I do. Yeah, previous semester situations. This one. There are some other, yeah,
Yeah.
this one. This is last semester. Oh, sorry, this is assessment 2 for the meeting. Sorry, not this one. Assessment 1. Where is it? Assessment 1. Previous semester situations. 30342. Assessment 1. Yeah, this one. Okay, so I have a few sample questions, right? So perhaps you might want to practice with your group members. Now, I mentioned this before. Once you have formed your group, appoint one person to be the leader of the group or the chairperson of the discussion, right? Because the chairperson will be the one who is going to lead the discussion. The chairperson or the leader is the one who is going to start the discussion, and the chairperson also is the one who's going to mention the purpose, the objective of the discussion to all members, and he is also the one who's going to close the discussion, close the meeting. So you will have to appoint one person
Boleh
to
tolong tak?
be the leader.
Saya ni kita anda.
All right, once you have formed.
Saya tak habis pula. So nanti tu
Okay, I think that's about it. If you don't have any questions, right, I will be giving you the link.
swimming eh?
Where is it?
Meet je kan? Nak kena buat apa ni? Pulau sih. Macam mana nak tu?
Okay, so I've given you the link to the Google Drive, so you can find the materials. You'll be able to find the materials, the slides that I have shown you before in my previous classes, right? And then also samples of questions and email in the Google Drive, so you can refer to them, right? And yeah, you can practice with your group members. Okay, alrighty. No questions, yeah? Inshira, no questions?
No, medium.
Yeah, is it clear what you have to do?
Yes, medium.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so I hope the rest, I mean, well, since you don't have any questions, I think I'll end the class right now. Yeah, and class, please don't forget your attendance on UFuture, yeah? Don't forget to tick your attendance on UFuture.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very important.
Okay.
Okay, so next week, 3 groups. Please list the names of your group members in the WhatsApp group. Okay, and I would like to know which 3 groups will be having the assessment next week. And then what else? Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget to list your names here. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending my class today. Right. So I'll see you next week. The 3 groups, yeah. So the other 3 groups who will be having the assessment in week 8, well, you don't have to attend the what do you call that, the session next week. So we will start with the first group,
Yeah.
right, at 8 o'clock.
Aku ngantuk ni.
So you only join the Google Meet
Tolong jawab kan boleh.
when it's your turn. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Alrighty. So I'll see you next week. Inshallah. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, madam. Have a nice day, madam.
Assalamualaikum.